It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
This is just the United States. You see equity has a full page, bonds has a full page, and international could probably fill up 3 pages worth of all the indices that you could invest in. So if I'm the average investor who you watch this show because you like personal finance content, but you don't have a degree in it, you haven't studied this, and you're so worried about screwing it up, you're like, how do I choose which ones? Do I just do all?
Well, in theory, index investing was supposed to make it easier, right? Like, oh, I'm just going to be an index investor. I'll go buy 1 or 2 things. But like you said, there are hundreds of indices now. It's kind of hard to even sift through all of that, even if you know you want to be an index investor.
You could end up with the analysis paralysis of too many good choices that you just don't know what to do. So what I always tell people to do is you look at this research, it's daunting, and you're trying to figure it out. Instead of trying to choose one fund, there's this new trend that's been really successful, and we've seen lots of opportunity here, target retirement funds. And about every provider, whether they're like Vanguard with their target retirement funds, Fidelity Freedom Index funds, they build entire retirement portfolios or target retirement. It doesn't have to just be for retirement. You can use these for education planning, you use them for all kind of purposes. You choose the year that you think you want to have the option to retire. I didn't say you had to retire, but you want the option to retire. And then that fund is going to be very aggressive in the beginning, but as you get closer to that retirement date, that self-chosen retirement date or financial independence date, there's going to be this glide path that makes it more and more conservative for you. And the good news is it does all the heavy lifting for you. So you can focus on the behavior that's actually wealth building, which is saving. And because you've talked about it before, Bo, is rate of return or how much you save more important when you start out?
Yeah, when you start out and you're just sort of getting your army of dollar bills going, the amount of which you save, your savings rate is going to be exponentially more important than your rate of return. Because you saving 10% of your income early on is probably a lot more money than you making 10% on the money you have invested. So until that switches, and we think that switches somewhere around the $250,000, $300,000 range is when it makes sense to like shift that focus. You really just ought to be focused on how much am I saving, how much am I saving, how much am I saving. And target date funds are a great solution there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, first I want to give some statistics because I had the research. I hate to waste a good data point if I've already done the research. Internal expenses in 2008 on target retirement funds was 0.67. At the end of 2017, it's 0.44. So they're also benefiting from all this money flowing into it. But Bo, you said something really key there. So if I'm a person watching this show or listening to this show, I'm thinking index funds hung the moon essentially. I mean, you start going, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't we just use target retirement funds forever? Wouldn't we just? This all seems good. So is there a reason not to just use target retirement funds? Or is there a reason not to just use all index funds?
Yeah, so I think that when you think about target retirement funds, I think they're a very good generalist answer, right? So when you're designing a portfolio, you want one fund to do a lot of things well. You want it to handle the risk exposure well. You want it to handle international, large cap, fixed income. You want to do a lot of things well. Well, our opinion is that once you grow past a certain point and your portfolio gets to a certain size, rather than having to live inside of that generalist portfolio, you can allow your portfolio to be a specialist portfolio where each piece of the pizza pie does something very specific. So your index funds, whether you're using indices or active managers, which we'll talk about in a second, are only doing fixed income. And your international's only doing international. And your large cap's only doing large cap. You're able to customize each one of the different slices of your pie so that they are now specialized instead of generalized. We think that makes sense once the portfolio hits a critical mass where you can really benefit from that diversification.
Well, I like it. Maybe it's because I come from the public accounting background. I love sticking it to our favorite uncle on taxes, is that once you get to a certain size, you're going to find that you probably have some tax diversification. You're going to have taxable money. You're going to have a lot of tax deferred with your retirement plan. You're going to have some tax-free with Roth. How awesome is it? Because the thing is, when you buy target retirement funds, which we love, but when you buy them in a Roth, they all look the same in the Roth. When you buy them in the taxable, they look all the same in the taxable. When you buy them in that 401k, all the same. There's no breakout. When you get to a certain size, now we can start gaming the system from a tax location standpoint. Meaning, let's put your growth assets in that Roth. Really let those things turbocharge and grow, well beyond, just normal things. So that's all your growth assets. All the things that generate ordinary income, like your bonds. Let's focus on putting those in those tax-deferred accounts. Assets that are going to generate dividends, which have their own favorable tax treatment, put those in the taxable account. So it lets you kind of really game the system. You can't do that, unfortunately, with target retirement. Love them, push them, tell people to go do that when you're starting out, because you need to be focusing on the behavior, not on taxes and other things. But you are going to come to a level where your enterprise gets to the size, you got to take it to the next level. And that's where we hope that you'll consider talking to somebody like us, because there is a graduation point from target retirement funds. But now that leads me to what all my wholesalers and lunch and learn participants have been hoping that I would share is, when does active management work? By the way, that was a little industry humor, because it's always the active management guys that are hosting lunch and learns
to tell you all about it.
And then, the wholesalers coming around trying to get you to buy their products. So, Bo, we talked about this, and this is something you added on, is that you said, Brian, we gotta share, because all the people who are in active management are like, this is not a completely fair representation. So walk them through, when does active management make sense?
Yeah, so we think that it happens inside of specialized asset classes, and here's what's really unique. We think that it kind of changes through time. I used a great example early in a fixed income. There was a point in time in the not-so-distant future where an index inside the fixed income marketplace made a lot of sense. When we were in a declining, and now that rates are even rising, maybe we're back there now. Maybe indices do hold a place inside the fixed income. Same thing when we talk about what's going on in international marketplaces. When you actually look at what's going on in the countries or the economies you're investing in, if you want to buy an index internationally, which index do you buy? Because there's a bunch of different ones. So you have to kind of think through, what kind of portfolio are you trying to construct and what kind of exposure are you trying to get? And then the other place where we think active management can make a lot of sense is in the alternative space. If you have a sleeve of your portfolio, like we do and we manage, that's supposed to do something a little bit different than just traditional stocks or bonds, whether it's a return enhancer in the portfolio or a volatility mitigator in the portfolio, sometimes those funds aren't perfectly categorized by the index, and you do have to go with a more active managed fund.
I like to think about more. I always bring things back to that common sense mentality. Is that I know about every other day I have one of those boxes show up with a smile on it. I mean, we had probably 2 show up because I had the studio stuff coming. Those. I was telling Morpheus off camera that I just got those under cabinet lights that he asked for in the new studio. I bought those on Amazon. There's this Amazon effect where, unfortunately, I worry about all of our brick and mortars. And if you look at a lot of real estate investments, if you're just buying the index, there's a lot of traditional retail space on there. And I think that over the next decade, you're going to see this Amazon effect where all of us are buying into this convenience of having those smiling boxes showing up. And that is going to have a direct impact on what happens in the real estate marketplace. So it would be nice. I love index funds. I love the cost savings. I love the tax efficiency. But when you know that there's something that is going to disrupt or cause things to not work as efficiently, that's the whole purpose of inefficient markets versus efficient markets, you have to plan accordingly. And that's why I think active real estate does do better with that on the horizon. And
active managers, they can make those judgment calls. The index can't. It has to operate inside of market capitalization or whatever the stated index mandate is. So it's nice having someone who can have that flexibility inside the portfolio.
Here's what I also want to close it out with is because I don't want you, because I love a good deal, but I don't want you to, and I'm going to kill the saying, Bo, so you have to fix it. Was it penny smart, pound foolish, or how I can't?
Penny smart, pound foolish. I think that's
if you have huge embedded gains in your existing active management because grandpa, you started buying this because my father-in-law was buying like the Fidelity Magellan back when he was alive. If you had one of those and you started buying those and had huge embedded gains, you're not going to go do apple cart turnover just so you can get that super low internal expense ratio. It doesn't make sense to pay all those capital gains just to get in a lower cost. I'm saying maybe change your behavior going forward, but don't throw out those active managers if you do have some huge taxable gains that donate those to charity.
I'm about to say, if you did, you beat me to it, you jerk.
It's not even in the show notes.
I was going to say, if you are someone who has huge embedded gains, go listen to our show on charitable giving from last year because that's a great solution for a charitable gift fund.
So, Bo, in summary, I mean, it sounds like we talked a lot about we're pro index investing, and I will tell you, I think that, and I don't know if I can't remember if I said this because I talked about it pre-show. This is the problem with doing live shows, is we mention things pre-show too. I think it is the dirty little secret for most investment professionals.
I think so too.
Even your commission guys are probably secretly buying index funds. So make sure you understand how index funds work, and then figure out how to, most effectively implement this in your own financial portfolio. And by the way, if you don't feel up to it because you look at the 3 pages of SPIVA data and you're like, this is for the birds, consider taking the relationship to the next level. We have this whole abundance mentality where you come to watch the Money Guy show or you come to listen to the Money Guy podcast. And we've been doing this now since 2006 where people come, we love on you, give you all this great free advice. All that we ask, if you ever want to pay us back, is that when you get to that level of success, when you get to 250, 300,000 and greater in assets where you can move past the target retirements, let us get a look over your shoulder. Let us help you out. Let us help you be your personal CFOs to make those right decisions for your finances going forward. Bo, did I miss anything in today's show?
I think you nailed it. I'm excited about 2019. The last part of the end of the year 2018 was a little interesting. It's going to be fun to watch 2019.
I liked, we did some shows on market volatility there at the end, and when a bear market attacks.
Yep.
I love the titling, but I never can remember everything. It really, a lot of you guys have shared with us that it's helped you get you through these downturns and market cycles. Pay attention to that. Whenever you go through downturns like what we had at the fourth quarter, bottle up the feeling you had, but then when you come out the other side and you see it wasn't as bad as maybe what you were feeling in the middle of it, use that as a learning experience. I tell that to every young associate that we bring on, is because your emotions can be great for finding the love of your life, but they are horrible for your wallet. So don't let your heart and your emotions betray you. So make smart financial decisions. Keep tuning into the Money Guy Show. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, here's where we really, and I hate it because all the financial publications that rank financial advisors and how good they are on social media, they use Twitter.
Yeah.
Why? But they do. So if you're not following us on Twitter, go follow that as well as subscribe on YouTube, and then definitely check us out on iTunes or however else you grab podcasts.
I'll throw this out there too. If you're someone who's just listening or you're brand new to the show, we do this thing live every other Tuesday at 4:45 Central Time. Come hang out with us, a couple hundred of our favorite friends, and join the chat. And it's all kinds of fun. We'd love to see you there live.
So I'm your host, Brian Preston, Mr. Bo Hansen. We're about to start a live Q&A. So join us next time in 2 weeks, and you can also be a part of the Q&A and probably get you one of these handy-dandy tumblers. Just got 2 more cases in, so we're giving away some tumblers.
We are giving away some tumblers.
We'll talk to you soon. Money Guy Show, out.